Okay, so you've seen the principles. Now how am I going to build it? First thing is, you've seen the hull already and where I'm up to with that. I'm making the hull using ply formers, car body filler or bog, and fiberglass, usual standard thing. I've ripped it down the middle and it's looking pretty good at the moment. Got a fair bit to do. I've got the hull nicely done, and as I've said before, it sort of looks like that, or the section that I've made looks like that. But in fact we're going to have a combing that's going to run right the way down there, and there's a gap there. And I really want to do that nicely because it's going to make the surface of the boat, the top of the boat, look really good. So I'm going to leave that little bit till last. So I've made the hull, I've cut it in half, and now the next step is going to be to think about the tail, and to think about the rudder, the hydroplanes and the props. So I should mention this, I like to multitask, so while I'm making the hull I've also now built up the piston. I've made the two-way pump to pump the water in and out. I have made the subtech valve. I have now also nearly completed how the end cap system is going to work for the pump. That's what I'm going to be doing now as I run parallel with doing things for the hull. But the hull is only rough at the moment. My plan is get the tail on, get everything in place, and then I'm really going to start polishing it down and making it look nice. But the final look of the boat is going to be quite old and battered. I really want that. I want it to look like the thing as it is now. So, bearing all that in mind, I would think, looking down on the top of the boat and looking on the stern, this is where the propellers go. I think the first thing that I'm going to be doing is working on how to connect the propellers to the motors, how to do it so it's removable, all of that sort of stuff. That's going to be a major project. Once I've done that, we'll move on to placing, as I've said before, placing the ballast tank where it needs to be, then connecting this up, and then adding on the rest of the front part, getting the measurements right. I think one of the next things that I'll do is start thinking seriously about the hydroplane mechanism, because that's going to be sitting in the bow and I need to have room for that, however that's going to work, and I'm still thinking about that. I think it's going to be, I'll control the mechanism with a servo, and I'll control the servo with the Arduino, and I think it'll be a slow opening, shutting. That's my plan. Alright, so once I've got the interior sort of in place and everything's looking okay, that's when I'm going to start finishing the rest of the hull, building the sail, building all of the other bits and pieces, get it to a point where it's roughly recognizable, all the bits are working, and then I'm going to focus on the electronics, get it all working on the bench, everything working, everything happening. Then comes the big test. That's when you get a tank of water, put it in the water and start to see what you're going to have to do to make the damn thing work. This is the trimming process. I think in the sail, I think I'll probably make half of that out of balsa, just to keep the boat upright when it's submerged. It's good to have a little bit of something light, I think, in the sail. But other than that, I'm actually thinking there's enough air in these watertight cylinders for this boat not to need too much ballast. I think the issue is going to be whether it sits upright in the water properly. The ballast tank is going to be quite big because the boat needs a lot of freeboard when it's on the surface. That causes complications in relation to the balancing of the boat. I'm going to focus, of course, on balancing the boat at neutral buoyancy, getting all of that right, then you empty the tank and you see what it looks like. Hopefully it'll be right. We shall see. If not, I can possibly decrease the capacity of the ballast tank. I'd hate to do that. And I might have to put some foam in various spots in the hull just to get it right. But once that's in place, I'm going to do some test runs. Then we get down to finishing the boat and painting and all that sort of stuff. It's going to look crap at that point. It's just enormous fun doing all of this stuff, don't you think?